When you often hear me giving instruction in reference to life, especially when I talk about getting out of debt, I understand that my communication could come over to you as negative and derogatory. I understand that very much, but that's not my intent. You have to really pay attention and listen to the substance that I'm saying. You see, we live in a system where they have conditioned us and they have trained us and they have manipulated us and they have coerced us into buying into it the whole while all of those who are rich, and they pass these riches on to their children, and they teach those children how to dominate, manipulate, control us again and again and again. They continue to keep reaping the benefits and the profits of this unjust system, and we continue to keep getting poor and poor and poor. Now we to the point now that even if you leave something to your children, 40% of it goes to the government. Do you understand what I mean? So a lot of people don't know about pure trust. They know about statutory trust, but they don't know about pure trust and stuff. But that's not the nature of this video. The nature of this video is to educate you on debt. You see, the reason why I'm so against it, and believe me, I know that many of us don't have $20,000 and $30,000 to go drop down on a brand new vehicle. There are times that I have to actually go out and put money on a credit card, and then it takes me 3 to 4 or 5 months to pay it off. There are times if I make a big purchase, using the credit that I've established over the years, and then I go ahead and pay it off as fast as I can. Because I'm not wanting to do like other people do and can continue to keep dragging it out and continue to keep this beast system afloat. You see, when you're out of debt, there are two things that you're going to experience. Number one, happiness and freedom in your life. All the worries, the fears, the anxieties, and the stress that come along with owing someone, especially if you have a calamity or a catastrophe in your family, where it's hard to make ends meet when you've been dependent on two incomes and now you have to depend on one. So there are drastic changes that may have to take place in your life. But if you position yourself to go ahead and stay out of debt, minimize it as much as possible, you're a whole lot freer, because the borrower is a servant to the lender. That means the more debt you have, the more you have to go out and you have to actually go work your fingers to the bone to pay off this debt plus interest, usury. Which, if you are my brother and I'm your brother, or you're my sister, we're not supposed to be charging each other usury. Now, if you want to give something over the top or something like it, it's up to you. But you have to understand that when you're out of debt, you can exercise a life of freedom and liberty like nobody else. You can start living like North Americans can, because the majority of Americans are used to being in debt and having that foot on the back of their neck all their lives. Number two, the reason why you want to get out of debt is because it starves this debt-based, credit-based system. And it's not in their best interest, whatsoever at all, to actually teach you to get out of debt. Matter of fact, everything they do, the advertisement, it's all about debt. You would not believe how many solicitations I get on I'm just going to say this, a monthly basis from credit card companies, loan companies, different places want me to, actually take on their credit card. Because, you got somebody like me that pays their bills, them the type of people that they consider low risk, but they can still make a little bit of interest off of it, and they don't have to worry about their money, if you understand what I mean. Now, we live in a country that if you don't pay your debt, just like they've done in Ohio, they have a debtor's prison. Even though it's against the law, they still are throwing you into debt. Now, you have to understand, laws don't mean nothing. And if you want, I want to show you how much they mean. Look at our government. Look at our Congress. Look at our president. If laws mean anything, why come they break them and disobey them? They don't mean anything. The police, they don't obey them. They don't. No, they don't. They don't mean anything. The majority of the police officers out there, they have the job because it's a job. It's a pretty plus job at that, but it's a job. And And you've got to understand that they're trying to put food on the table for their families as well. But I can only hope that if you ever listen to me, especially on Sabbath morning at 11 a.m. on this website right here behind me, is that don't come with a critical ear, because what you're going to do is you're going to put up a wall. And you're not going to pay attention to the substance, the words that I'm saying, and you're going to go away offended because you simply don't like the way that I talk to you. You know, as a youth, a young boy, I played sports, and I had coaches, and they just was not what you will call kind and nice to us as far as speech go. But the end result is that you become a better player, and no matter what game you were playing, and it made you better. And the training was tough and it's hard, but it was only for a reason, because they wanted you to be better. When I went into the military, and then I went into different other special skill identifiers, it didn't get any easier just because I was in there. Nobody cared nothing that I was a sergeant. I was going through different schools and stuff. That's totally irrelevant. They got a job they have to do. And so they did not speak very kind words to me with honey dripping off my lips. That did not make me the man that I am today, no matter what part of life that I've dealt with whatsoever at all. But they did accomplish the mission. And that is my whole motivation, is to accomplish the mission. I need to try my best to find some way to articulate to the people who are so easily offended at the way something is said rather than the substance. Now, don't get me wrong. Everybody don't get offended. And I really truly could care less if they get offended. It's none of my business. That's between them and the Most High. But I do have a heart and passion for people. I really, truly do. And I know already that everybody's not going to agree with me, even though they won't search out what I'm saying. I don't speak on every single subject that there is in the world. And I'm definitely not a subject matter expert on every subject that there is in the world. But however, if I do speak on something, that means I've done some type of independent research. I've done my due diligence in order to bring you a fair and balanced reporting of whatever I am talking to you about. And I'm trying to bring the most accurate information to you possible. Whether you like it, understand it, or not is totally irrelevant. But however, if when I get finished presenting it to you, at least you have other options. Because if you stick with the mainstream news media, you stick with these other outsources, or you just stick with church just in general, church as usual, just like politics as usual, you're going to continue to keep being fed the same old mess. There won't be any changes in your life whatsoever at all. You'll never even know what it means to be free, or at least to start being free. Now, think about this for a second. I grew up in the city. I sure did, a big city. But, you know, I so enjoy living in the country, especially when I see a seed in the ground and I see it coming up and planted. Then later on, I'm eating it. You know, I have a whole lot of appreciation. I have a very deep appreciation for food that myself and the brothers and sisters raised here on the land of Straightway. When we sit down at the table and we eat, we have a deep appreciation for it. You know why? Because we have put a lot of time, effort, and energy into producing that food. Sometimes when we sit down and eat, it is not some of the grandest taste in the world, but that's not the reason why we're eating in the first place. You know, people need to understand, do you live to eat or do you eat to live? Which one is it? So, I mean, we eat to live. Most people live to eat, and that's the reason why they're in trouble with their taste buds. I said that, and I went off into this particular direction is because I want to stimulate thought. That's what I want to do. I want to continue to try and stimulate thought some way, somehow, to help us as a people to function outside the box, outside the paradigm that we have all been schooled in. And we've been schooled in a very, very bad way in our lives. Everybody has had some type of input on the way that they think that we should function in this life. And as soon as you go outside of the box, as soon as you go outside the matrix, the people that are in the matrix, the first thing they do is they demonize you, they criticize you, they ostracize you, and they continue to keep on saying all type of negative and derogatory and inflammatory things about you simply because you are not a sheeple, but you're different. So do whatever you can to get out of debt so you can starve this beast system. And the one way you can do it is you can start off paying off a lot of those credit cards and stuff like that. Start with the smallest card. And when you start seeing those little victories and you become more disciplined, and you notice that you have a few more Federal Reserve notes in your pocket in order to function in this system, it gives you the victory. You start tasting freedom. You're like, wow. Sure is nice when, if you wanted to buy a monitor for $300, that you don't have to go out and charge it, that you can just go and put cash down for it, and it's yours as soon as you walk out the door, rather than paying somebody else interest so they can continue to keep making more money off your backs. No, I believe in starving the system. I really, truly do. I can tell you right now that my life, the way I live, is totally void of the religion of Christianity that had influence in my life. Everything that I've learned from that religion, I'm diametrically opposed and diametrically opposite of that thought pattern. And I use the same exact Bible as they do. And I can't understand for the life of me. I'm a man now, so now I'm old. I can't understand for the life of me how they come up with a lot of this stuff. And everything that I've learned in school concerning economics and all this other stuff, my mind functions totally different. Diametrically opposed, I am against it. Totally different than the way that they have trained me all my life. And you know what? I am so glad. I am so glad that I'm able to do that. I am so glad that I'm able to do it. And learn how to do stuff with your hands. I was in a Lowe's the other day, and I took a picture of this particular custom cabinet set, and it wasn't no bigger than maybe I don't know, maybe 8 foot long, something like that. Had a little vanity shelf thing over here. I looked at the price on them. I go, whoa, are you serious? Whew. I think I got it on my phone. It said like $4,189 just for that little set. I go, man, I can outfit 3 homes for that. Easy. But there's a reason why I can outfit 3 homes for that. You know why? Because I learned how to build it with my own hands. So a lot of stuff, if you are ever invited to come here Straightway, and you ever see cabinets hanging around this particular, I don't care what it is, any type of wooden furniture around this community, chances are yours truly has built it, along with the help of some of the brethren that I have here now that are learning the trade of how to build custom cabinets. You can actually go back in my archives and look at some of the things that I've been doing, which is a beautiful thing. But you can have nice things, and it could be a better quality, especially if you build it yourself. All this is just a thought. Work hard and be very passionate at starving the beast system that's got us in the trouble that we're in now, because ultimately if you can't pay it, they got a prison for you. That's why they have all these concentration camps, all these military bases closed up and everything, because they have a place for a lot of people that they're going to send. And I don't want you to go there.